Hi, so this video is going to serve as our parent meeting for the 2024 Yucaipa Calimesa Softball 8 and under team. So, introduce myself. I'm Coach Kirk Garrison. Again, you guys don't have to call me Coach Kirk, obviously. Just call me Kirk. I'm going to be assisted by my wife, Sarah Garrison, who you'll meet the day of the first practice. And they get a couple things, housekeeping things off. Right now, our team name is going to be the Bumblebees. Our team color is going to be gold. And right now, I do have one team sponsor that has at least said they're going to sponsor the team, and One Revolution Jiu-Jitsu. If anyone else can think of a company that would want to help sponsor the team, we can use those funds for going to hitting cages, helping to pay for banners, sweatshirts, socks, belts, visors, things like that. So if anyone does have a sponsor that they know is like gung-ho and ready to help sponsor a team, please let me know. So to kind of get it off me and Sarah's coaching philosophy, we're going to kind of start with that so you guys know where we're going to be coming from. Me and Sarah really focus on positivity. Again, this is 8 and under recreational softball. So again, no one's getting a college scholarship. This season is not going to be super important to getting on a travel team later, making a high school team. Really, the thing we need to focus on is kids having the right attitude, putting in the right amount of effort, learning how to basically fail and then learn from failure and then let it go. You really got to have a short-term memory. So I'm going to really focus a lot on if something happens, doesn't go your way, to be able to have something to reset, take a deep breath, learn from it, move on. Generally what you'll see in our practices, we try to use a variety of drills. We'll frequently split the team up to get a little bit more coach to player ratio, and so they get more reps in. And we try to keep the practices fun while learning. Like we'll play music a lot of the times. We'll use, like I said, a lot of different types of games, especially at the end of the practice. But again, our ultimate goal is to try to get kids to come back and play again next year. Because again, if you want a kid to make a travel team, make a high school team, get a scholarship, the biggest thing is making sure they want to be there and making sure that they keep playing. If they quit after the season, then all the emotion and getting worked up and all that it ultimately wasn't worth it, because now they're not playing anymore. I am going to have less of a focus on wins specifically. I'm going to be more focused on being competitive. So if we are, if we end up not having any wins this season, I'm not going to say that's happened. I don't think that's what's going to happen. But the big thing is that, and I think as coaches and as parents that we need to really focus on, is, did they give up? And that's why they lost. If they're losing, one-run games, and every time we've lost, we have a player on third base and we've had a chance to win that game, they're being competitive. And that's really what we should focus on, is that not give up kind of attitude. And again, that's what me and Sarah plan on focusing on, is again, attitude, effort, and then again, just learning and developing skills by the end of the season. While I'm not focused on wins, I will still play kids in appropriate positions, especially certain key positions. To me, like the kid that's at first base has to be able to catch very, very well. I don't want, again, I want the kids to come back and play again next year. If I put a kid at first base and some kid with a very good arm throws across and they get pegged in the face because they just didn't quite have that skill for catching yet, they're going to end up, it's going to be hard to get them to play the next year. And again, I'm trying to keep them safe. That's another big priority for me. And another is like pitcher too. You got to have a pitcher that is at least throwing strikes most of the time, not at least like half the time. Because otherwise the games just really drag and the kids will lose interest. It's not good. So other goals, again, just keep everything positive. I'm really never going to try to show any sort of negative behavior, especially like I'm not be yelling at kids. I'm not going to be overtly showing that I'm mad at them. Then I don't care if they strike out. I don't care if they make an error. The only thing I care about is if they were trying their best. If they didn't give up during the at bat and they end up striking out, it happens, right? You're going to strike out a lot in softball. Hitting's the hardest part of the game. So again, we're really just going to focus on, hey, how quickly can you recover after striking out, or what can you learn from striking out? So again, just really focus on positive atmosphere. If I do have to punish somebody like during a practice for just like behavior stuff, or they're just really not paying attention during a drill, I'm just gonna have them sit out for a bit in the dugout. Eventually I'll go over, one of the coaches will talk to them and get it all figured out and get them back into practice. But again, I've had kids in the past where they've been disrupting a drill. And again, all it's doing, it's harming the team. It's preventing other people from learning. And again, I'm not going to use running. I'm not going to use push-ups, anything like that, because I don't want kids later on to associate exercise with punishment. Again, another thing you want from rec sports is you want kids to enjoy exercise. And if some kid I don't want to have some kid not run track later because they have something that's stuck in their brain now they're running's punishment. So yeah, we'll just sit out. I do like to try to reward the kids a lot. I generally use candy. If you really do not want your child to have candy, I understand. Please just let me know. I'll figure something else out for that player. Again, focus on, this is recreational ball. It's about learning and developing a competitive spirit. It's not about wins. It's not about a record. And I'll tell you from my previous seasons coaching, if you're constantly talking about the team's record and showing the kid the team's record, they end up putting a lot of pressure on themselves solely on winning, and then it ultimately actually makes them play worse. It actually happened to me a little bit, I think, in the last season. We were really close to being one of the higher up teams. I could send some of the kids knew that. They started putting a lot of pressure on themselves. And then actually some of those kids are performing worse than they normally would. So yeah, I would just suggest, focus on hustle, learning, being competitive. Moving on, I'm looking at my notes here. Again, League has a very low patience for parents yelling anything that's unsportsmanlike, especially at umpires, especially at other coaches. Get everything, just keep it very, very positive. Like yelling things like, "Oh, she should have had that," or "Oh, I can't believe she watched that pitch." It's only going to make them play worse. It's going to make the whole team do worse. It's going to make that player be worse. I understand it's very emotional as a parent. I watched the first season, and I was surprised at how worked up I could get. Again, I had to do it. If you start getting really worked up, take a walk to the outfield and then walk back, and hopefully by then you're good to go. I've had to do it before. Even my dad used to sit in the outfield because he would get so worked up. So again, just something to think about. If you really are going to think you're going to blow your lid, just think about doing that. Attendance, I will consider attendance at practice for things like batting order. So again, but if you're going to miss a practice, you have to miss a practice. That's okay. Just please let me know ahead of time, because I'm usually making practice plans. And if I'm missing a ton of kids, then a lot of times I'll mess up my practice plan and I have to try to, switch something up. Kind of again, focus on keeping things positive. If you need to bring an issue to me or Sarah about anything, whatever it is, try to do it, after practice, after a game. And hopefully, kids are kind of out of the earshot. Like you can send them to go play at the playground. They can play at the playground with my daughter, and then we can discuss whatever we need to discuss, and we'll try to find some kind of resolution there. The other thing, and again, this is more just keeping players kind of focused and performing the best they're going to. Try to limit contact during the game, especially in the dugout. I know sometimes kids need water, kids need a snack. That's fine. Just get them the water, get them the snack, and then you gotta get back to your Z, tell them, hey, you're doing great. I'm right there watching you. I'm cheering you on. Because again, they get distracted really easy. It's kind of the big thing. So just really try to limit that contact if you could. So kind of to conclude this, again, a lot of these recommendations are coming from my previous coaching experience, and I really dive deep. I watched tons of videos now. I've read I think 4 or 5 books now. I'm really trying to do my best. And again, just know the team's going to be focused on growth. I want the kids to know they can take risks and fail without concern about angry coaches, and end up just being confident, team having fun. And the confident team is never the last place team, and they always return the following year, which is my ultimate goal. So with that, that's going to conclude this video. If you have any other questions, see you at the first practice. All right, bye.